Quick disclaimer, my content is influenced by my love of beauty and 100% not influenced by brands, PR products received, or brand partnerships. I always give my complete honest opinion on beauty products in my videos and all other social media accounts.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melissa and I am the Youthful Mama. In today's video, I'm going to share with you a drugstore version of my signature bronzed look. I didn't go crazy with the bronzer today. I really wanted to keep it nice and simple, especially for beginners. I also didn't use any glitter or shimmered eyeshadows on my eyelids. So I always go between golds and shimmers and just like a matte brown. Today I just stuck with matte browns. As I said, just to keep it nice and simple, but I do usually jump between the two. Sometimes I'll use both. But this is pretty much the same look as what I did in my last video, but just drugstore products. I'm pretty sure I did use all drugstore products. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I'm going to talk through it. I did mute it when I was filming because I had so much background noise. Well, actually, the truth is, let me tell you exactly what happened. So Roman was asleep and Mick was looking after Max, and I knew that Roman was going to wake up soon, and I didn't want him to know what I was doing because otherwise he would cry, and he's a real mama's boy. And I knew he was just going to try and break down the door, and he literally does try to break down the door. Like, he'll smash it, he'll punch it, and okay, maybe not punch it, but he'll whack it with his arms, his legs, throw his body down on the ground and just literally have a tantrum and beg for me to open the door. And I didn't want to have to put up with that, so I went in another room and I was so quiet. Like, every time I tried to open a compact powder, or I dropped my mascara at one point, I was so worried that he was going to hear me. And because I was so quiet and the house was quiet, he kept saying, "Mama," every time he heard a noise. Like, he was like, "Is that Mum?" And then Mick kept saying, "Mummy's not home. She's gone shopping." So I couldn't stop laughing because I know that he knows that I'm actually home. And then when I finally finished filming, I made a lot of noise, and Max said, "Mum, he knows you're in there. He knows you're upstairs." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. It's okay. I'm just packing up now." And then I heard him say, "Open it, open it." That means open the gate. So yeah, Mick opened the gate and he came upstairs and harassed me and took my makeup brushes, and yeah, he wanted everything. So I had to quickly rush and clean up. Like, honestly, when I clean up my makeup when I'm around Roman, I'm so fast because he is just so quick. He will just grab everything and ruin it. He's ruined my eyeshadows so many times. Like, he just sticks the brush in and scratches it. He's a little monster. Max was never like this when he was young. He was so gentle and understanding and patient. And Roman's like, "Yep, I don't care." Anyway, I hope you guys like this look. I had a lot of fun recreating the same signature look with drugstore brands. I will be honest, I found it very difficult. Like, I didn't think I had enough drugstore products to actually do the whole look. Like, I don't have an eyeshadow palette that is drugstore brand. Like, I just haven't found anything that I'm in love with. So I did struggle, but you guys know that I like to put I like to put a primer on my eyelids that is tinted. Like, it's a chocolatey brown cafe. It's the Urban Decay one, but because I'm doing a drugstore look, I needed to use something else for that creamy base, and I ended up using the Nyx Wonder Stick, which is the cream stick. So yeah, I kind of use other products. Also, if you're looking for a really nice brown to put on your eyes, don't feel like you have to use actual eyeshadow. Okay, that's a myth. You can use lipstick on your cheeks. You can use a brown lip liner on your eyes, as in to do like brown eyeliner. There's absolutely no rules. Companies who manufacture these will say, you need to buy an eyeliner, you need to buy a lip liner, you need to buy lipstick, you need to buy a blush. you need to buy this and this and that. That's just how they sell things and how they manufacture it, and they brand it that certain way. But when it comes to makeup, you can mix and match. You can use things differently. So don't feel like you're restricted, and don't think that this is something that I've just come up with because I didn't have any drugstore eyeshadows. That's not true. So many makeup artists do it. If you find the perfect shade of brown and it is for contouring or for bronzing, then you can use that on your lids, because I love using browns and neutral shades, warm and neutral shades on my lids. So yeah, don't feel restricted. You can definitely do that if you don't have an eyeshadow palette and you like browns as well. Anyway, so we'll get straight into it, and if you do like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe by pressing the little bell and turning it on, so that next time I upload you'll know. I'm going to aim to do this every second Friday, but on the odd occasion when I get an extra chance to film, I might do it every other Friday. So we'll see how we go. Roman is a lot more independent now, and I'm getting a lot more free time, so I will be uploading a lot more than I have in the past. I think I had like a 6 to 7 month break. Like, that's a really long time. Hopefully you guys love this video, and let's get started.
Okay, don't freak out guys, but I'm literally going to put baby Bepanthan on my lips. If you're a mum like me, you would understand the reason why. My lips are so dry and chapped through winter, and as you know, Bepanthan heals dry, cracked skin. Doesn't taste the greatest and doesn't smell the greatest, but you're not supposed to lick your lips anyway. But it really does the trick. So I use it every couple of days to heal my lips. Followed by Napoleon Perdis Autopilot Primer. You guys know that is now available at our most pharmacies, so it is classified as a drugstore product, so I didn't cheat. So happy about that. I'm now using one of my old favorite concealers. I haven't used it in a long time. I haven't talked about it in a long time. I still love it. It's probably one of the best, and that's the Maybelline FitMe concealer. I'm using the shade number 20. And I'm just going to use that to highlight under my eyes. You guys know I always use a lighter shade. And highlight my brow bone, and then obviously just the T section. And I do have the Real Techniques sponge, which you can get from any drugstore. But I am actually going to use a beauty blender instead. And I know this is supposed to be a drugstore look, but I'm just letting you know you can use the Real Techniques one. I'm just going to use the beauty blender instead because number one, it's damp and it's ready to go, and secondly, I find that it's just softer as well. You guys know after concealing I like to contour my skin, so to contour and give some definition to my face I'm going to use NYX. You can get it in a palette or you can get it in the Wonder Stick. I really love the Wonder Stick. I find it much more convenient, so you don't need to waste your time using a brush. That's just a simple brush that you don't need to use, that you don't need to actually clean in the future. Why waste another clean brush when you can just draw it on your face? So simple, and it's such a beautiful shade. I totally forgot how many drugstore products I actually love. Like, there are so many brands that are amazing. NYX is one of my favorites. I think I might actually do a full look full face with one brand, like the one brand tutorial. If you guys are interested in seeing that, let me know what brand you're interested in seeing. I really love NYX. I'd love to use all of their products because the products that I have used from NYX just happen to be amazing. Maybelline is another one that's really good. Yeah, like I can't even name all the products that Maybelline have that is amazing. So many of them. And then Australis I already have like maybe 5 or 6 products. So let me know what brand you want me to do. I'll do a drugstore tutorial using all the one brand. I'm going to take my time blending this in. You guys know how important it is to buff out the contour cream, so I'm going to take my time and do this slowly. I have no idea why the hell I use such a large buffing brush to buff out the contour cream on my nose. Like usually I use a really small one. I think I use a Sigma brush, and for some stupid reason today I was in my own little world and I just started buffing out my nose with this massive brush. Totally wrecked the contour around my nose. So I'm gonna have to go back in with a smaller brush and fix it up. Probably apply a bit more makeup. Really had no idea why I did that. I think I was just distracted from the kids. My concealer always looks so light for my skin. It sometimes looks like I've used the wrong concealer, but I actually like it being like too light because I end up bronzing my face up. When I go to buy foundation or I go to buy like just any product, I always get told by the sales assistant, oh, that's too light for you. But they have no idea that I actually prefer lighter shades than dark, because when I put darker shades, I can't lighten it. Like it just, I would have to pack on a ton of makeup to make my skin look lighter. So I prefer to have lighter foundations and lighter concealers. It just looks so much better. And then you can apply, you know, like a contouring cream and a bronzer to kind of give your face dimension and also just brighten it up and bronze it up. So yeah, I've got heaps of ideas about what to film. For foundation today, I've grabbed the L'Oreal True Match Lumi foundation. It's a beautiful foundation. It has a really natural finish, and I'm in the shade 5W, which is number 5 warm, or W5, whatever. And I'm going to put that on with a flat kabuki brush. Today I am going to try and use some Real Technique brushes, which are available at most drugstores. I purchased mine from Priceline, but I believe also the Chemist Warehouse sells them. But for putting foundation on, I really like using Sigma, which is just, yeah, flat kabuki brush. I notice now that when I use concealer, when I put concealer on first and then I put the contouring cream on second, I notice when it comes to my foundation I don't use as much. I normally only use 1 to 2 pumps depending on what kind of foundation I'm using. I love to brighten under my eyes, and I have been using the Australis banana powder for many years. In fact, my compact has fallen apart. I've hit pan on it, the lid's broken and the lid is all faded. It looks like it's been abused. It has actually, by Roman. I think I've also dropped it a couple of times. But yeah, it's the banana powder setting powder, and I'm going to use that mostly under my eyes and a little bit in my T-zone. Kat Von D also has a really nice shade in her palette, but I'm not going to use that one just because that palette's in my makeup kit for when I go out to see clients, and this little small compact is always with me in my little makeup bag. For the rest of my face, I'm going to use the Australis with Fresh and Flawless pressed powder, and my shade is darkest brown. You guys have probably noticed I'm filming in yet another room of the house. This time upstairs near the window where my old office used to be. I've switched places because I'm pretty much filming when Roman's having his daily naps, and when he wakes up I don't want to be anywhere near where he can see me. So he has my room, which means I don't have access to my makeup table, and this is the next best place in the house that's got good lighting. So yeah, I've got to jazz up the back, but I haven't really had any thoughts on what to do with the background, so that's why it looks so bare. And there's actually blue tack on the wall, which you've probably already noticed. Next, I'm going in with a beautiful bronzer that I found at Priceline. I'm going to use a Real Techniques brush to apply that, and it does have a bit of shimmer. I'm not sure if you guys know this, but I hate shimmer in my bronzer. I always want a matte bronzer, but this compact just looks so appealing and so beautiful, I couldn't resist buying it. I did notice when I did apply it onto my face that it wasn't very pigmented. I barely noticed it, so I kept dipping my brush in the compact and kind of rubbing it around and applying it 2 to 3 times in the same place. It is a beautiful colour, it just needs to be built up. So if you're not the kind of person who likes a dark bronzer like the way I like, then this would be really suitable for you because it's not too pigmented. But the actual colour itself is absolutely beautiful. It's so natural and it suits my skin tone perfectly. I'm definitely going to be using this more often. I think I actually like the shade better than the Laura Mercier shade, except Laura Mercier's is matte, like it's a matte finish. For blush, I also picked up another shimmered blush. Again, don't really like that, but I found this Model's Preferred brand in the shade Autumn Calling. It looks so beautiful. It looks like my kind of color, but then when I opened it up, I noticed little specks of gold, and I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I like that kind of highlighted shimmer on my cheeks. Anyway, I'm applying that with a Sigma blush brush, and I noticed that, again, like the bronzer, it's not very pigmented. So I was very tempted to go in over the top with MAC, but I thought, no, I'm going to stick to just drugstore brands for this tutorial, and I just kept layering it on top until it gave me a bit of colour on my cheeks. It's probably not a blush that I would buy again, and probably not a blush that I'll use often, but it is a beautiful colour. It's just, it has too much shimmer in it for me, and it's just not pigmented. You guys can probably see when I go close up, it kind of looks like they've got too much highlighter mixed in there. So I'm just going to apply again. Next up, I'm going to do my brows. This brow pencil by Savvy is available at Priceline as well. I really like this pencil actually, because if you don't have a lot of products with you and you're out and you have this in your handbag, it's very handy. One side of the pencil is actually like a wax pencil, and the other side is the actual tinted pigmented pencil, which is what I'm using right now. I don't use the wax side, but I also like the lid. The lid actually has a tiny little brush on it, so it's a handy little tool. And it's, I think, the only product from Savvy I've ever purchased, like ever. And I'm pretty impressed with it. It's a really nice chocolate brown. So what I do with my brows is I always start in the middle and then I work my way to the ends. And I always extend my brows just a tiny bit. I don't go too far because it looks way too dramatic. Just extend it to make it look a little bit more glamorous. I've spent so many years plucking and waxing that I've literally plucked and waxed away my own natural eyebrows, which is why I fill them in. I have had microblading done before. You can probably see right in the center of my brows where it hasn't kind of, the pigment hasn't kind of stayed there, and that's just because I overplucked when I was younger. Now for my eyeshadow base, I'm not going to be using an actual eye primer. I cheated and I'm using the Nyx Wonder Stick, the contouring stick that I used on my face before. This is going to give me some pigment and give me a base to work on before I apply my eyeshadow. For eyeshadow, I actually don't have an eyeshadow that is a drugstore brand because I only have blacks, golds, silver, just really glamorous kind of shades from the drugstore, and it's not the look I'm going for. I'm going for my signature look, which is just browns and golds. And for today's video, I'm going to skip the gold and stick with just the browns. This is going to give me a pigmented base, so that when I apply some powder over the top, it is going to look a lot darker than if I didn't actually put the base. For the actual eyeshadow itself, I'm going to cheat again, and I'm going to use the bronzer that I've already used to bronze my face. So keep in mind, if I were to use this bronzer as an eyeshadow directly on my eyelids without putting the contouring cream, you would notice it wouldn't be this pigmented. In order for me to get it this pigmented and this dark, I've had to put a base on that is pigmented. So I totally forgot to contour my lips, and you guys know I like to do that. So I'm overlining my lips with contouring cream, and then I'm actually going to buff it out with the excess foundation that's still on my flat kabuki brush, so it appears as though my lips are much bigger. And then after it's been buffed out and it looks natural, that's when I go in with a liner and lipstick. I'm not laughing at myself. I'm actually looking in the mirror and laughing as I do my lips, because Roman's awake at the moment, and I remember when I was filming this, he was listening very carefully for every little sound that I made. So if I dropped something, he would say, "Mama, Mama." And yeah, I just like kept my mouth shut, so he didn't know where I was. I kept hearing Mick saying, "She's gone shopping." So yeah, just buffing that out with the foundation brush. And now I'm going in with a NYX lip liner in the shade Brown. If I had it in front of me, I'd be able to confirm that, but what I'll do is I'll double check the shade and I'll put it down in the description, or I'll put it on the screen. But I'm pretty sure it's just called Brown or Natural Brown. I'm using that to fill in a little bit of my lips as well. This is not as dark as the brown that I used in my last tutorial, which was the signature bronze tutorial. I used a different shade of brown, but still a brown. This one now I'm going to go in with another brown, and it's by Maybelline. This is a crayon, lip crayon. The reason why I'm using this to fill in my entire lip is because I find a lot when I go out that my lipsticks, if they're drugstore mostly, they don't last. They're nothing like MAC. MAC is so unique when it comes to lipstick. It will last me ages. Like I can eat and I'll still have my lipstick on. But drugstore just kind of fades after I just have a drink of water. So what I've done with drugstore is I've done the liner, used the crayon to fill in my whole lips, and then I'm going to go in with the lipstick, and I'm going to be using a Maybelline lipstick in the shade Purely Nude. This shade is as close as I could get to the shade I used last week, which was the MAC Creme de Nude. Super light shade. They're almost identical. The only difference is this kind of just wears off almost immediately. Whereas the MAC, which is in the shade Creme de Nude, it would last for hours. Like literally I could eat lunch and have a drink and it would still be on my lips. I'm just going to put in a clip from my last video to show you guys the lipstick that I'm actually referring to. Notice how the shade is so similar. I love drugstore, but nothing beats MAC lipsticks. They are honestly the best lipsticks. Before I do my lashes, I'm going to go in and brush my eyebrows. I'm using the NYX, just had to grab the bottle. It's called NYX Control Freak Eyebrow Gel. It is so good. I actually like it better than the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel. This one here kind of feels like you've got hairspray in your eyebrows, like it stays put. And the reason why I brush my eyebrows up like that is because I like that wet eyebrow look. Followed by my all-time favorite NYX Dewy Finishing Spray. This is the final look, guys, the exact same signature look as I did last week with the high end, this time with the Drugstore. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe to support me, and I will see you in my next video.